Hey there, in today's video I am just collaging with shapes, with those cutout shapes that I talked about in the other video. I have just taken cutout shapes and made different compositions on different substrates. So I just want to spur you on, if there's times when you don't want to drag out everything, but you have these collage pieces, I would just, arrange them in your art journal or on a canvas or whatever substrate you have handy, and just create some collages, because it can be very, very satisfying. You already painted it, you've already cut them out, and then just to put them down in a composition that you like, that you could then later create into, you could cut them down into cards, you could do small ones, you could do just a myriad of different ideas that you can do. So I hope this spurs you on to really think about how to use those shapes that you have cut out, that you have made with your collage pieces or with your collage papers. It's just another way to use up that big stash that we have. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So here are not all, but a lot of my cutout shapes. And I just wanted to kind of show you before I got started. I do big ones. So I keep them in this little vintage cigar box. A lot of little shapes, little pieces are in here, but I also have some bigger ones because sometimes, you see how big that is? I want to work on a larger substrate. So I'm going to set those aside because they do not actually fit in my little box. But I do lots and lots of circles, and those are some of my favorites. I do these little C shapes or U shapes, however you want to call them. I do these squiggly, let's push that over there. Let me move this. I do these squiggly lines and things like this. And then I cut them out, and it's super fun to see all the different shapes you can make. There's another circle. A lot of times I'll do X's or T's or plus signs, whatever you want to call them. I mean, the X's are X's, but these could be T's or plus signs. And in all different sizes and on all different types of paper. I sometimes also do just like squares of color, and I may have extra marks on those as well, because sometimes it's fun to put down different squares and different things like that. So the other thing I wanted to mention, and I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, is when you cut out, okay, so this piece, hopefully you can see it, yeah, I cut out these 3 pieces, and what I have left over, let me grab a piece of paper if I have something handy. Let me grab this art journal and just show you what that would look like. So right out of the gate, you have some really cool shape that you could then, I could do it this way and put in, I'm just making this up, but like different things like this. So let's just say I want to do that, and then I had some other thing up here. But the fun thing is that these other shapes that are left over from when you cut out pieces should not be overlooked, because they can be used. This looks like a wishbone from a chicken or a turkey. So anyway, just do not discard some of your other shape, the discarded pieces, because those sometimes can work as well. Obviously, you can't keep everything, so you may want to pick and choose, or maybe during one session, you're like, oh, I'll just keep this for now, but then I'll get rid of it later. So just something to consider. So yeah, just so many cool shapes, bowl shapes, different shapes. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I do when I'm not going to paint, although you could. Or I'll show you a couple different ways sometimes I just want to use my shapes and make a collage. I just want to show you, something I do using shapes only. And if you don't want to use paint or other mediums for some reason, you could just pull out your shapes and glue those down into a pattern or a composition that you really like. So without my complete bumbling on, I'm going to show you that now. Because I'm prone to spending a lot of time on composition, like I could, pull out several pieces. I could do something like this. This looks fairly like a botanical, almost like a sea botanical. I could start with a larger piece. And then I spend a lot of time, putting the pieces where I want them and all of that. So what I decided to do was kind of pre-decide, because otherwise it is, you can spend a lot of time. So I decided for this first example, I wanted to show you something using kind of a botanical, which is something, you could start with something that is very realistic, like this could be a plant or whatever, or just in general using things that are not just, you know, what I want to say, abstract pieces, which I'm going to show you a couple other examples as well using that. But this first one I kind of wanted to talk you through. So let's just say this is what I'm going to use. Well, it is what I'm going to use. So we're not going to say it, I am going to use this. But I have chosen some other little elements over here to the side, and I just want to talk you through it versus you spending an hour with me as I kind of was fiddling around with stuff. So I decided to use these 3 squares that I cut out, not squares, rectangles, and I like number 3 because I like that it's not symmetrical. I like things in odd numbers, and often that really works for me. So some people like, and it's great because we're all different, and that is the beauty of it. It's like some people would want 2, and they might want to do 2 exactly the same, and that's great. Everybody gets to decide, and so I like the fact that maybe these are little vessels, and maybe this one's going to hold my plant. It's kind of the idea of it. So, but I feel like that's not enough. And although I'm very simple typically in how I like things, I don't make things super busy, but I do want a little bit more on here. So I kind of went through this little stash, this little selection of stuff over here. And I found these little squares that I had cut out, and I thought they would look kind of cute here. So, and I can't remember now how I did it earlier, but that's good because then I can kind of do the process with you. So I think I did, or maybe I did something like this. So anyway, you can do it however, but I feel like it just adds a little bit of interest. And then I have a circle, and I thought, oh, I kind of like that up there just to balance this out. Kind of picks up this, I don't know if it's not really even an olivey green. It's a very gingy color, but I feel like that comes up here. It kind of balances it all out. I think actually what we should do is maybe more like that. See, that's just it. Even though I kind of did this earlier, now I can't really decide how I like it. So, and that's the beautiful thing is you just can kind of mess with it. Before I glue it down, I get to mess with it a lot. So, and then I have these little pieces. I'm gonna grab them, probably lose them. And I thought I would put them on the pots here. So again, this is super simple. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not using any shape. Even this botanical thing, you can see I just quickly use black paint on a book paper and cut it out. So I have my matte medium here, and I'm just going to start gluing these down. I'm not gonna even worry too much about doing it off. I have these little pieces here. And the great thing is you could have as many or as few items on this page. I've showed you sometimes how I start with putting, in another video, how I put down collage as a background, and then, without really thinking it through too much, then I can work over the top of it. And you certainly could, like with these, because they're so simple, you could paint around them, you could do all kinds of things. So I'm just gonna glue this down, and there we go. Kind of like it's coming out of the pot. I kind of like that idea. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's get this up here. And then let's get our little squares in. Now, one thing people do, and this is probably a really good idea, is once you get it laid out, that you take a picture of it with your phone, and then you can look at it to make sure you get it the way because if you get it the way you like it. Now, I see some air bubbles in here. I'm going to smooth those out. I don't mind wrinkles, but the air bubbles it means it's not adhering. And it looks like some of that paint is pulling up, and I'm okay with that too. That kind of adds to the interest of it. I just don't want the air bubbles. So, and some of the paper tends to be a little more wrinkly than others, and so if you don't want wrinkled paper, then that's something to consider, like which paper, practice seeing which paper you've used. Now this turned out even better than I would have imagined, because the cool thing is some of this paint lifted off and it created a junky background, and so it's not white anymore, and it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So as you can see, I'm just taking pieces that I used up random paint and made like a collage that then I can take this further. I could add paint. I could have added a background to begin with. There's so many things you can do, but this is a great practice in colors do I like, what design do I like, how do I like my composition, remembering to keep the eye moving around your page, well, or canvas or whatever it is that you're working on. So what I thought I would do is I'm gonna do a couple more, and oh, I forgot about these little pieces. I was gonna use these little pieces. Let's see, let's glue those on. Almost. I just thought these would be kind of fun, just as a little element. And the other thing, sometimes what I do, you know, just adds a little touch. Sometimes what I'll do is these random papers that I have, when I have it laid out like this, I'll come back and I'll say, oh, I want a piece of this, because this makes each of these look, you know, kind of adds another element to these. So let's say I wanted to do that, or maybe not all of them. So yeah, that you can keep kind of adding the little details after you kind of get your big piece in. So anyway, okay, this is just the first one, and then I'm going to show you a couple more. I thought I'd show one using working in my book journal, and the reason being is the other one I was on a white surface, which, as most of you know, I would never start on a white surface in general. So the book pages lend itself to something really expressive, and it already has text, and it's got the patina of an old book. So what I'm going to do is, on this one, I've already chosen some pieces. I like the idea of putting a big, bold piece across the top. So this is just, you know, I just, took my paint, made all these loop-de-loos, and then cut it out. And I didn't even cut out the middles of it because I kind of liked how it turned out. And because I'm working on a background with this kind of patina, I feel like it kind of goes with the vibe of it. So in this case, I have these other little pieces I'm gonna add, but I'm actually just gonna glue it down step by step and show you. And I don't know if you can see this, but I love that there's like a little number. This is music paper. And I like numbers and text and all the things that get left behind. So I'm gonna go ahead and collage this in, and then we'll add the other little elements. Once you have a big piece like this though, often you don't need a lot more, because it's already giving you a lot. And let's see, how did I want that? I kind of wanted it right like that. And where is my Catalyst wedge? I'm going to smooth it down, and I will go over the top with some matte medium here in a minute, but I want to get it down and kind of in that nook there. In the center of this, the spine of this. That's not the spine. The spine is the back, but what is that middle part called? I don't know. I should know. I'm a book lover, but I don't know all the technical terms here. And obviously, I get on camera, as most of you know, and then I lose all my faculties. Seems like I can't remember words. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm stuttering. Okay, and in real life, people will be like, what? Okay, seems like she can never stop talking. Okay. So I've got this big piece on, this big bold piece. I think it's awesome, but I want to add some little pieces around it to make it look a little bit more interesting, because as you can see, there's nothing over here. So in my scraps, I found this blue that I thought would be kind of fun, just right along the edge here, just to create kind of a border. And then okay, I think that's going down there. Let's get that Catalyst wedge again. Okay, there we go. And then I have another piece that I thought would be fun, except for I was going to put it here, and I can see, I don't know what I want to do now, because I think I wanted that piece up further. So this is the thing. Sometimes you have to ad lib when you're not sure. So maybe what I'll do is, I'm just going to tear it and put that piece, I'm still going to put that piece there, but I'm just going to tear it, and I'm going to have to regroup now, because what I had in mind isn't going to work. And that's okay, because I think that's part of it. I think the reason I kind of had a plan is because sometimes on camera it can go on, and I don't want you guys to have to sit with me and, you know, have it be like this crazy time. I also found, I don't even know where these were. These are from my little stash, and I thought they would be fun. I don't know now. Maybe right here. Okay, let's do it. I think that's initially where I had them, but I don't know now if I want to keep them there. But okay, we'll keep them there for now. Okay, so a couple little pieces, and then I thought it would be fun to have these other little pieces coming across to kind of mimic that. So let's see how that looks. It's fine. It's not exactly what I wanted because I've changed the, this has moved over a little bit further. It's a little heavier over here. So I think I like that little piece on there. So you have little pieces and big pieces. I think I need a little dark piece up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a dark piece and then I'm gonna come back. Oops, I forgot to turn the camera back on. I decided just to cut kind of 3 little circles, and then I found this cute little number and I put this little number down here at the bottom. I feel like that completes it, and it just goes to show you too, sometimes when you pull things off, you kind of have an idea, then you come back, you can always, it just gives you an opportunity to reimagine how the composition might be. So, and just remembering, you know, your lights and your darks, your big pieces and your little pieces, they all kind of lend themselves to the differences that make up a composition. So anyway, I'm gonna do one more, and then I want you to go get your pieces and do it for yourself. This is a little board book that I've made, and I will link the video to how to make this. But I thought I would show you one. So I've showed you one on a white surface. I've shown you a collage on a book paper surface. And now this one has paint and collage. So I thought I would show you something very simple on this one. So what I've done for this one is I'm just using squares that I've painted, and I'm just kind of blocking them in like this. So let's just do it. I'm not gonna overthink it. So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a pattern. It doesn't have to be anything tricky. These are just squares. And so I guess I wanted to show you all the different things that you can do and collages that you can make without adding anything else to it. Now, I thought it would be fun to kind of have a little piece in the middle here. So I'm just gonna do it. Kind of linking those two together and linking those with the text that's behind it. And then here's another block of paper. Is that a little long? Maybe I'll just rip that. Well, maybe I'll get some scissors and cut it. Let's just cut that real quick. Just make it so that it fits right there, okay? And yeah, squares, circles. As you can see, I don't use any kind of tricky thing. That Botanical was about as tricky as you get. And even that was not like some crazy shape. It was fairly simple. This is not wanting to lay down. So let's get that catalyst wedge out, scrape it down. Okay, there we go. And while we're at it, let's just get this scraped down too. Okay, so then I thought which would be fun would be to kind of put this shape on top. Let's see, where do I want it? And again, as you can see, it's literally a 3 or an M. You can put it this way or that way. These are not complicated shapes. And then let's set that there for now. And then I was gonna just put a couple more of these. Wow, I mean, what is that? That's just a line? It's just a line. So, you know, like that cannot get any easier. So, but I like it. I like that it's just simple. It's just using things that easy shapes. These are the shapes I like. These are the shapes I'm drawn to. And so whatever shapes you were drawn to, go ahead, just cut them out from your collage papers and see what happens. You can make collages very simply, and it's a great and easy way to kind of start figuring out what you like in terms of the composition and color and shape, especially for I'll have to press on that a little bit harder in a minute. But okay, so see how easy that was. And I could add, I do have this little piece here. Do I want to add it in? It's kind of cute. Maybe right there. What
What do you think? Yeah, I think I should. It was just kind of sitting off to the side all lonely by itself. And I wasn't planning to put it in with that, but yeah, there's a lot of details that you can add later if you think so. And obviously, like I mentioned before, you could paint around it more. I just wanted to show you 3 different ways that I use my shapes when I am not painting, when I'm not doing a lot of other things. Of course, you can start with a background. Of course, you could add, then go in and add other mixed media things like soft pastels, paint, oil pastels, marker, pencil, charcoal, whatever you have, whatever you want to do. But if you want to just keep it really simple, you can certainly just do it like this. So anyway, I hope that you find this helpful and that you will use your collage papers to do some interesting things that are unique to you. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.